Hello, advanced students. Welcome to your English class number 7. Very good. Open your PowerPoints and go straight to slide number 2, where we're going to talk about the measure system for temperature. Okay, Celsius versus Fahrenheit. Okay, so Fahrenheit is used by USA, Lithuania, and just another country. So it's only 3 countries in the world use this kind of scale. Everybody else mostly use Celsius, and there are some countries that use Kelvin, but just few of them too. So most countries use the Celsius for temperature. Okay, so let's read the explanation here. Celsius is the measure system for temperature used by most countries. In the Celsius scale, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, and the freezing point is at 0 degrees. So that makes sense, right? It boils once it reaches 100 degrees. It freezes once it reaches 0 degrees in our scale Celsius. Fahrenheit is the measure system for temperature used by the United States and other 2 countries, Lithuania and some other really small country that I don't remember the name. In the Fahrenheit scale, the boiling point of water is measured at 212 Fahrenheit and the freezing point is at 32 Fahrenheit. So 0 Celsius equals 32 Fahrenheit. The same time as 100 Celsius equals 212 Fahrenheit, okay? So there is a calculation that we are able to do to transform Celsius to Fahrenheit, okay? So that's the formula. You put Celsius times 9 divided by 5 plus 32 equals the Fahrenheit. So the example we have here is 25 Celsius. So 25 Celsius, how much is it in Fahrenheit? So the calculation is 25 times 9 divided by 5 plus 32, so equals 77 Fahrenheit. So here, I don't know if it's in the whole country in the United States, but when I was in the United States, I realized that 20 degrees, 21 is already kind of hot. Like here in Brazil, when it's 20 degrees, I'm wearing coat. In the US, I would go to the beach. So it feels different. The feeling of the heat of the temperature is different in US also from here. I don't know if it's in the whole country. I lived in like up north, almost Canada, but that's what I could realize. Like it feels different. Very good. So we are going to slide number 3, where we find American education system. You're gonna see there are some differences between here and the US. So let's find out. Okay, so education is divided in 3 levels in United States public schools. So first level is elementary, from kindergarten to 5th grade. Then you go to middle school, from 6th grade to 8th grade. And then to high school, from 9th grade to 12th grade. So they have 1 grade extra than us. Preschool or pre-kindergarten education is not usually provided by the government. The kids can start going to school when they are 5 to 6 years old. At this age, they attend the kindergarten. They go to the 1st grade from 6 to 7, and they graduate on high school from 17 to 18 years old. Okay, so that means if I have a small child, like 4 years old, I cannot take this child to school. Yes, you can. Usually you have to pay for a private school, but some cities, they pay for this kind of education. Like, it's not something that the government provides, but sometimes the cities decide to attend to have this kind of facilities for small kids. Okay, it's not everywhere you're gonna find. The law is that if the kid is from 5 to 6 years old, they can go to kindergarten, which is our preschool. Okay, and the government has to take care of it. The school year is also different from Brazil. Theirs starts in August after their summer vacations and ends in June. During the year, the students normally get the winter break, 1 or 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's, and the spring break, 1 week between March and April. So, like here we have different seasons. So when it's winter here, it's summer there, and vice versa. So they have their big vacation just like us during the summertime, but their summertime there is June, July, and August, as our summertime here is December, January, and February. So they have the big vacation in the middle of the year. So it sounds kind of weird for us, but it's just for them to have like a nice summer, so they don't have to go to school when the weather is nice. Alright, so a regular school in America has classes starting between 7 and 9 a.m. So the school, it depends on the place. It may start at 7, at 7:15, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 8:15, 9. Okay, so it's usually this range from 7 to 9 a.m. and goes into 3, 4, or 5 p.m. So the schools, they are full-time schools. So usually the kids stay at school for 8 hours per day. So it's always 8 hours. If they start at 7, goes into 3. It starts at 7:15, goes into 3:15, and so on. There's just one shift. It's not like in Brazil where the kids could study either in the morning or in the afternoon or even at night. They are full-time schools. So there's only one shift. Like here in Brazil, you can choose if you want to study in the morning shift, in the afternoon shift, and the older kids, they also can study at night, because here, if you are 14, you can start working. So if you work, it's better for you to study at night. In the US, you don't have that option, so you're always going to study the full day, and everybody's at the same time. Okay, so all schools are full-time. The private, the public schools, they're all full-time, 8 hours. Very good. So moving on to slide number 4, we continue the text. So to register a kid in an American public school, you need to live in that particular school district. So what they say about school district, so they have a school in this neighborhood, and they place like a distance, like people from this area can study in that school. Okay, so that is the school district for that school. All right, so you can't attend a public school that is miles away from your residence. The reason why they do this is because they use the taxes they collect from the population of that area to pay for the school expenses. So I found that very interesting. So it's good to know that the taxes you pay goes for your kids' education, go for your kids' school. And the people from that area that go to that school pay for the expenses. So I think it makes more sense. Continuing. Some areas have better schools than others. That's why many Americans, when they decide to have a family, they search for properties in good school districts where the better schools are. The houses are usually more expensive in those areas. Generally speaking, schools in the suburbs are much better than schools in downtown areas. The reason is in the suburbs, the population is bigger and they have more land to build big and with better infrastructure schools. So if you live like in Brazil, suburb, it doesn't sound very good, right? In America it's different. Suburb is just an area that there are more houses than businesses or factories, or this kind of stuff. It's like more of a living area, family neighborhood. They call this suburbs. So suburbs usually they have big land, so they can build big schools with lots of facilities like lab, like sometimes they have swimming pool, big court for sports, this kind of stuff. So if you go to a school downtown, they're probably gonna be in a small building with not many facilities. So that's why schools on the suburbs they are better. Even though some schools are better than the others, the public education system is considered really good in USA. That's why on movies and TV shows you see rich and poor kids attending the same school. So I always wondered about that. I was like, this kid is rich, that kid is poor. Why do they go to the same school? That's not something that happens in Brazil, right? So I always wonder about that. So here's the explanation. Many people choose to send their kids to public schools even if they can afford private schools, because the education is really good on public schools too. So why would someone go to a private school then? So that's something to ask, right? So the public schools are so perfect, so why would somebody pay to go to school in America? So we have here 3 main reasons. First reason is they can choose where to live. So if it's a person that, I like to live downtown near where everything is, so I prefer living downtown and paying for my kid to go to a good private school, whatever I want. That's one thing. Second thing is there are usually less students per class. So that's something similar to Brazil. Usually the public schools have many students in one class and private schools have less students, so the teachers can give more attention to the students when they don't have that many students. So that happens in US too. The third reason is if they are searching for a specific kind of education, like religious, bilingual, and etc. So if they are searching for a specific kind of schools, they can't find these public schools. Religious schools, bilingual schools, they are always private. And here we have the price for, like, the average price for private schools in US. So remember, US is huge country, right? It's a huge country. There are places where people get more money, so things are gonna be more expensive. There are places that people don't get so much money, so things are gonna be really cheaper. So that's the average, okay? So everything there they're gonna say in year, like salary. If somebody like contacts you offering you a job, they're gonna tell you the salary in like per year. That's how you're gonna get this amount per year. They're not gonna say per month. I don't know why that's how they do it. So the average cost of a private school is 10,700 per year, okay? That's the average. Very good. Continuing, cheerleading and being part of a sports team are good things for students who attend public schools. But these are not the only activities offered by schools. The students can also be part of an orchestra or a theater group. Music lessons are very popular among students, and they help them to have better chances of getting accepted on universities. Truth being told, if you are an outstanding athlete, the best universities are going to fight for you, offering scholarships. So first I said, like, if you play an instrument, this is something that you can add on your resume to find a good school. Like, oh, I play cello, I play the violin. So you put this information. It helps you to get accepted. But if you are an amazing athlete at that you do, the best universities are going to search, they are going to fight for you, and they're gonna give you full scholarship. So you don't have to pay for anything, but you have to be really amazing. So that's not something that is for everybody. So I wouldn't count on that. This is just for few people. By the way, to be accepted in a university, many institutions require the applicant to pass on the SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, in addition to the student resume. The student resume includes information such as academic records, so the grades, right? And extracurricular activities like volunteer work, practice of sports, instruments you know how to play, development of projects, and etc. So we always see on movies and on shows that people send their resume. They send a letter for the universities they are interested in to see if they are accepted. And they always talk about this resume where they put their information, where they studied, what are their interests, if they know how to play an instrument. So the hardest the instrument is, the more important it is for the university. So it's gonna call their attention if you play a very unique instrument. Not like, oh, I play the guitar, like thousands of people play the guitar. So it has to be something more interesting. So that's one thing. Okay. And unlike what happens in Brazil, the public universities are cheaper than the private ones, but not free. So here in Brazil, public universities, they are free, right? You don't have to pay to go to a public university. You just need to pass the test, right? In America, they have public universities, but you have to pay. You pay less, but still you need to pay. But those famous universities they have in America, like Harvard or Yale or Brown, they are private. So all of them, they are private and they're very expensive. So the famous ones, they're all private. It doesn't mean that the public schools are not good. The public universities are not good. There are many public schools that are very good, but they are not famous like those private ones. Continuing. To make sure that every kid have the possibility to attend the classes, the transportation is provided free of charges for kids who live over a mile away from the nearest school. And going back to those scholarships, they also offer scholarships if the kid is very smart. So, oh, this is one of a kind kid, is very intelligent, like only gets A's on the test. So if some universities, they're gonna offer a full scholarship if they realize the kid is really smart. So it's not only for outstanding athletes. Of course, outstanding athletes call their attention more, but if you're very smart, very intelligent student, you also can get the full scholarship. So okay, continuing here. To make sure that every kid have the possibility to attend the classes, the transportation is provided free of charges for the kids who live over a mile away from their nearest school. The transportation is done by those famous yellow buses. That is probably one of the reasons that the last researches pointed that 99% of the Americans are literate. So 99% of the Americans know how to write and read. Can you believe that? Like, that's a dream if it happens in Brazil, right? So America does a lot for the students, so that's why they are they have such a good rate for literacy, right? They are literate. All right, then. So we have here on slide number 6 a vocabulary for this text. All right. And on slide number 7, we have the link and the vocabulary for a YouTube video. This YouTube video, they talk about the difference between colleges and universities, so it's very interesting. You should take a look, and we're gonna talk about it, all right? So I see you in class, and bye-bye.